North Base Construction, great service from the ground up. Roofing, storm damage, and siding. Call the pros at North Base. Our hands-on approach, advice and consulting. Our attention to detail makes the difference. Visit online at northbaseconstruction.com. North Base Construction, great service from the ground up.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the North Face Construction Relegation Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jack Yeager, alongside Luke Yeager.
Hello.
And on today's show, we have Old Bets Reviewed and League Pick'em Challenge. Old Bets Reviewed is a new game, isn't it?
No.
Yeah.
It's just literally reviewing old bets that we made. Two of the games that we previously played that we haven't followed up on.
Fun. Okay, so when Ben Freeby was on the podcast, aka Royded Rawberries, owner of Royded Rawberries, we each drafted a team consisting of a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and 2 flex positions. Each player would receive their highest weekly point total between weeks 10 and 11. Each of us wagered 10 quarters.
No, I know. We went pretty big.
Yeah, we went huge. That's $5 in profit.
We may need to call
just to
somebody. We might need some help.
Just to recap on the teams, we'll start out with Royded Rawberries team, aka Ben. His quarterback was Bryce Young. His first RB1 was Alvin Kamara. His RB2 was Brian Robinson. His wide receiver 1 was Chris Olave. Wide receiver 2 was Deontay Johnson. Tight end was Cole Kmet. Flex was Mike Evans. And Flex 2 was Breece Hall.
So I don't know if you remember how we picked these teams, Jack. It was a while ago, but we used the random generator to give us what team we had to pick from. So this wasn't just like a snake draft where we could pick our best players. There was definitely some luck involved in who was picked. For sure.
Yeah, because I can't imagine with 3 teams, Freebie's picking Bryce Young unless he's kind of forced to.
He was. It was his last pick, and he had left it. He only had his quarterback left and got the Panthers.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to my team, which actually looked great at the time, but maybe not so great now. I can't remember what happened in weeks 10 and 11, but I had quarterback Tua. Running back 1 was Saquon Barkley. RB2 was Alexander Madison. Wide receiver 1 was Tyreek Hill. Wide receiver 2 was Garrett Wilson. Tight end was Dalton Schultz. Flex was Austin Eckler. Flex 2 was Kenneth Walker.
Yep.
Yeah, that might not have panned out for me, actually.
I would say some of them at the time looked better than they do now. That's for sure.
Weeks 10 and 11, did any of those guys not play? I think Dalton Schultz was still playing. Oh, you have all the totals, don't you?
I do have all the totals. I have them on a separate sheet, so.
Perfect. All right, we'll get into that in a sec. To wrap it off, round it out, round it up.
To round it off, wrap it up.
Yeah, exactly. Luke's team was quarterback Sam Howell. RB1 was David Montgomery. RB2 was Najee Harris. Wide receiver 1 was Amon-Ra St. Brown. Wide receiver 2 was Justin Jefferson. Ooh, that did not pan out.
He did not play.
Tight end was Mark Andrews, who was injured.
No, he wasn't injured yet.
Oh, and then flex 1 was Terry McLaurin, and flex 2 was Jahmyr Gibbs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I've got the results on a separate sheet. Looking at the teams now, what do you think who do you think took 3rd, 2nd, and 1st?
Oh man, I'm having a tough time remembering what happened in weeks 10 and 11.
I know.
I'm gonna say
it was kind of fun to go back in total and be like, oh, that's when that happened.
I'm gonna say I still took 1st, and
okay.
I think. Shoot, dude, I don't know. I'm gonna say I'm trying to remember. Did Chris Olave start playing well in weeks 10 or 11? I know Kamara was playing well. Bryce Young sucks. Man, that is so tough. I'm going to say you 2 and Ben 3.
Okay. So that was pretty good. That was pretty impressive. Ben took third.
Right?
Ben took third with 116.1. Bryce Young obviously let him down. 9.2 points. Yeah. In a best of 2 week, Bryce Young could only put up 9.2.
What a loser. He should never have picked him.
Oh, it's so funny. He should have picked Andy Dalton. Just go out with some honor.
For real.
Alvin Kamara got 15. Brian Robinson, 24.7. He was definitely a stud. Olave, 18.4. And then
nice.
Deontay Johnson sucked. He killed.
Yeah.
Absolutely killed him. Because honestly, Cole Kmet did fine. Mike Evans did great, 23 points. Breece Hall did fine, 15.8. Mm-hmm. So it was really Bryce Young and Deontay Johnson that absolutely destroyed him. I mean, the fact that he lost to me with taking a 0 from Justin Jefferson.
That is kind of crazy. I was looking at Bryce Young. I was looking at Deontay Johnson. Those were the only 2 that I was like sure of that I knew they didn't play well. And that's why I put him at third. Because I couldn't remember, maybe Chris Olave was playing well, for one of those weeks. Maybe he started playing well in week 11 or whatever it was.
Well,
I couldn't remember. I knew
he actually only had 1 week because the other was a bye. So he did well on his non-bye week. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and Deontay Johnson had just had a good week before this one. So that it was kind of 9. Yeah, it was kind of the letdown.
Wow, that's a bummer. Because I now that we're in week 14, going into week 14, I knew Deontay Johnson hadn't been playing well recently. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how far back you had to go until he had a good game. And, well, now we know, week 9.
I know.
Bummer.
I know. So then my team, I took second. I put up 121.92. Sam Howell, 30 points. What a stud. David Montgomery, 17 points. Najee, he was 10, almost 11 points. Amon-Ra, 26.5. What a beast. Justin Jefferson.
He's such a stud.
Justin Jefferson
0.
obviously did not come back. Genuinely, if I had gone, I didn't look it up, but if I had gone Addison, there's probably a chance I won this if I had just picked Addison instead of Jefferson.
Was the point totals that close?
No, actually.
What did I score?
Never mind. I don't think it was. It would have had to be a huge week. I have to go back and check because I know Addison had a really big week one of those weeks, but you took first with 145.4.
So I beat you by 23?
Basically 23.
24?
So okay. Who has Addison again right now? It's Acorn Assassins.
Okay.
Acorn Assassins have him. So I'm looking up Addison quick. It wouldn't have mattered. His big week was week 7.
And week 7, how many did he put up? Like 25, 26?
27.8.
27.8. What a stud.
Wouldn't have mattered though. So no. I think there was literally nothing I could have done there. Mark Andrews sucked. He was terrible.
Did he get hurt in week
11?
12? Oh, in 11.
I think in 11. He put up 5.4 was his high.
Yeah, and then week 11 he had like 3.3. He would have had a monster game for you actually. He was playing against Cincinnati. He had 2 catches in the first drive to get 3.3 points, and on his second catch he got injured. I was watching that game and left my buddy's house early because I didn't want to watch the rest of the game. I was so frustrated.
I remember that. That was right after you traded for T. Higgins and everybody too.
Yeah. Yeah. I walked into the house and I'm pretty sure Tay said something like, "Wow, that was quick." And I was like, "Don't talk to me, woman."
So funny. Yeah, so you absolutely dominated. The only one who sucked for you was Madison. He put up 6.5. Everybody else put up double digits.
Oh, really? Austin Eckler had a good week.
Yeah, Eckler put up 19.5. It was his last good week.
Nice. And then Kenneth Walker wasn't injured yet.
19.2.
Nice. Yeah. When did Walker get injured? Week 12?
You dominated. I'm not sure when he did. Let me take a look.
So I made $5.
You made $5. So Freebie and I both got to send you 10 quarters.
Let's go. That's so hype. I don't even
It's
know
a
what I'm
good
going to
day.
spend all that money on. Yeah, it's a great day.
Well, if you download the McDonald's app, you could get 10 McNuggets and a Big Mac for that.
That is so true. Well, I'll probably need about 17 cents, I think, but I can manage that.
Work the corner for a second before. Just get out
for a
there
second.
for a second. I mean, well,
Quick.
what are you expecting for 17 cents? Just sweet talk somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, pay up.
Yep. I need my quarter. That is too funny. And then moving into relegation league draft, myself, Luke, and Andy did a snake draft picking the teams in the relegation they believed would finish the season best. A team receives 2+ points if they finish in the top 4, with a bonus point if they win the championship, +1 point if they finish between 5th and 8th, -1 points if they are relegated. Nobody was allowed to draft the number punchers or the Yorkies, the 1st seed and the 16th seed. Are we just kind of going through this? Because we won't have all the information until the end of the season, right?
We don't. I have the current projections at the bottom, but yeah, we'll just go through kind of an update, a reminder of who we all picked. This was what? This 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, at least a month ago.
I think this was right around week 8 or something like that we made these picks. So this is what we thought at week 8 how it would shake out. You had the first pick,
and there was it was a snake draft. We already explained that, but
it was a snake draft. Except Andy got to pick who. I can't remember why or what the determining factor was. But Andy got to pick who didn't or who went first in the last round or who didn't get to pick somebody. Essentially, I can't even remember how it worked out. I think he got forced into having somebody because he couldn't pick himself. Or he could. I literally don't remember the game.
Well, let's just go with our selections.
Go for it.
People can come up creatively with how it panned out. But my selections, my first pick overall was the Unicorn Fart. At the time, I think they were second overall, and I think that's still going to be a safe pick. I'd be surprised if they fall out of top 4. Yep. And then my next pick was the Sleepers.
You were enough, 6th at that point, I think, in the league.
I think I was. And so I'm still fighting for a spot in the top 8. African Token's still fighting for a spot in the top 8. Lumberjacks are still fighting for a spot in the top 8. My guess is at least, well, it has to almost, pretty much. Yeah. One of those teams are going to be relegated, if not 2 of them.
I would guess,
especially with the Lumberjacks.
2.
Yeah, with the Lumberjacks injuries right now, it's kind of looking like Token and Lumberjacks will get pushed out, and I think I have the best chance of staying in the top 8, but it's still not even a guarantee.
Yeah, there's not really a chance that all 3 of you would be out. There is,
if Pond Feet stayed up.
That's not going to happen.
Probably not. I would say if I had to make a guess right now on the end of the season, I think I get Unicorn Fart in the top 4. I don't think they win. So I think there's no benefit to winning.
Yeah, there is. There's one. You get 1 bonus point if you win the championship.
Oh, gotcha. So I think I got 2 points there. I think I got an additional point for finishing 5th through 8th for Sleepers, and then I think I take. I think Lumberjack. No, I think I take -2. So I think I finish with 1 point.
That's kind of what you're projected at right now. So Andy's selection, he went with the Turf Hoppers 1, Long Necks 2, Acorn Assassins. He bet on himself. I told him it was a bad bet at the time.
Especially because he decided to tank like 2 weeks later.
I know. I said, I know you. All you want to do is blow everything up and rebuild. That's all he ever wants to do. It was a bad bet.
So funny.
And then he took Pond Feet 4. Somehow Pond Feet became the better team between those 2 picks.
That is funny. So right. Turf Hoppers, I say, actually, he might be in a good spot because Turf Hoppers will finish in the top 4, probably. Mm-hmm. Long Necks have a good shot of finishing in the top 4 as well, but they might take 5th. Tough to say. They've had a couple bad weeks back-to-back, but they do get J. Jeff. They should have a good finish. I'm going to say he's going 2, 4, 3, 2. I think he finishes with 2 points.
Yep. And then, but if he has 2 teams make it, he has 2 chances to get that championship point.
True.
And then,
I didn't even think about that.
So my selections are Avalanche, Rawberries, Slumlord Co., and Barnacles. Right now, I'm also projected to get 2 points because I think Avalanche, Rawberries, Slumlord are all projected to make it, but they're not. I don't think any of them will crack the top 4. And then Barnacles are obviously out. So I'm pretty much at 2 unless the Avalanche make a move at the end and jump long necks to get into the top 4. Long necks or turf hoppers.
Yep.
I guess either of them could fall out.
Yeah. And if Unicorn Fart wins, the chances of us all going 2 points, it's kind of funny, but that might happen.
It literally might. We might all tie. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. We had literally nothing on the line for this, so I care pretty much zero. I don't really care about it, but it'll be kind of fun to see how it ends. And I'm kind of hoping. Unicorn Fart wins and we just all tie. I think
that'd be super funny. We've been talking to lately, Number Punchers. With the way that they've played all season, it wouldn't be a shocker if they had a first round exit. And if that's the case, then I think Unicorn Fart probably has the best odds. Texas Turf Hoppers or Unicorn Fart. So I think it's kind of a toss up between those two teams.
If he has 2 teams in it, if Andy has both Turf Hoppers and Long Necks in it, I give him the edge. He would probably, I would think one of those teams would win it, but I don't know.
Yeah. So would you say highest probability on winning this, if anybody did, would be Andy?
I think so. If Avalanche somehow sneak in, that vaults me up to 3 and drops Andy down to 1. And
because he's kicking somebody out like Long Necks.
He would lose a point. So then I would pretty much lock it in. So I just need Avalanche to get into the Final 4.
Avalanche in the Final 4. Rawberries 5th to 8th. Slumlord Co. 5th to 8th. Yeah, you're sitting at 4 -1 with the Barnacles. But then if Unicorn Fart won it all, me and you would tie?
No, you'd only be at 2.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, I think I have the worst probability, or the worst.
Yeah, I need Avalanche to jump in, and that pretty much that would seal it for me. I just don't think it'll happen.
Fart. Yeah. Yeah,
fart,
for real. Fart. Championship.
That's right. All right.
You see that with 1 chance to earn +1 for the championship?
What? Oh, is that what I wrote?
Under me. In the show doc,
championship.
Yeah.
Whoops.
All right. Should we jump into League Pick'em Challenge?
Let's do it.
All right. So this segment is brought to you by Team Healthcare. They are a multi-specialty clinic that offers chiropractic, PT, acupuncture, and massage. They are experienced providers in reducing pain, improving the brain, and restoring energy. They brought lower back recompression to decompression. Recompression.
They're really
Watch
good.
out.
If you feel good going into them, they'll just compress you down. Make sure you're
We gotta hurt you before we fix you, or we're not making money.
Always darkest before the dawn.
Right, exactly. They brought lower back decompression to Minnesota and have used it successfully to treat the backs that others cannot help: herniated, degenerative, and bulging discs. So shout out Team Healthcare. Thank you for sponsoring the episode. Make sure to check them out. If you are having any of these issues, they can definitely help you out.
And live near the Champlin area. Champlin, Minnesota.
That's true.
If not, definitely worth the plane ticket in. They're totally worth it. Use your points. Get back to Minnesota. They'll pick you up from the airport, I'm sure.
I'm sure they would.
I mean, it's not in their fine print, but I'm just guessing. They're good guys.
I could almost guarantee you that they'd pick you up.
Team Healthcare, chiropractic, and limo services.
Previously on the League Pick'em Challenge from last week, me and Luke both went 6-2, so we're currently tied at 60-36 still.
With
going
2
into
weeks
week 14.
to go.
That's fun. We got to start. Did we both go 6-2 with the same selections?
No, I don't think so. Let's go back.
Wow.
Here, go to yours. I will go back to week 13. So I picked Slumlord. Let me know if you pick something different. I picked Slumlord, Turf Hoppers, Avalanche, Sleepers, Pond Feet, Number Punchers, Lumberjacks, Corn Dog.
Yep, that was exactly what I picked.
Okay, we had the same thing. We had no chance of getting it wrong.
No. The big surprises this week were the Number Punchers falling to the Unicorn Fart, and two tanking teams, but Corn Dog played better. 12.6 points to 16.1.
It did help that they had no quarterback.
Who didn't? Corn Dog?
Corn Dog didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So they replaced with 0.
Caused a little bit of a kerfuffle in the group, but not too bad. It was the least drama of the last 3 weeks.
Little bit of a hiccup.
Yeah.
I'm actually going through my pick'ems right now. I was not prepared for this week 14, so I'm picking them right now.
Yeah, I've already got mine picked. Why don't you pick them as we go through them?
Yeah, I already got them.
Super easy. So, they are. This week is so boring.
There's maybe one game where you could differentiate between two teams, but not even really, because I don't think one of these teams has their lineup set fully yet. So we'll get there, but that's a bit down the order. We'll start out with the Lake City Longnecks and the Old York Yorkies. Lake City Longnecks are projected 83.44, Old York Yorkies 15.74, a tanking team. This is pretty much a guarantee for Lake City Longnecks for the win. Question is, do the Lake City Longnecks beat the median at, I think it's
86.6. So I've got it down below.
86.6.
Yeah, I say we let's go through this a little quicker, talk about each team and some of the matchups for them, but at the end, let's project who we think is going to be in the top 8. So I've got it all listed out down below, but we'll get to that part about the median.
Perfect. So do you want me to just go through team projections on the show doc?
Well, I would say just kind of when we do the matchup, let's just go through and so Puka Nacua, Christian Watson, he's got some injuries that he has to deal with. And his
Pacheco and Zay Jones.
I mean, who are his replacements? He gets to bring in Justin Jefferson this week, which is huge.
Yep, which is huge. And Dalton Kincaid comes back in for Troutman too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is massive. So he hasn't really reset his lineup. It's just kind of a case of he has 4 guys injured in his lineup right now. I think only one of them misses time. So I think
will be held out. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was going to say I think the only one who misses is going to be Watson.
Yeah, Watson's injury looked pretty bad. I could see Nacua sitting out a week, but he did finish the game.
I don't see him sitting out a week. I think he plays.
Yeah, he probably does. Suffered an AC joint sprain in his right shoulder. The only reason that I would say he might not play is when he came out of the game, he was literally crying. Like they were commenting on the fact that he was crying walking to the locker room. That's why I thought he wasn't going to come back, because I was playing the Longnecks last week, so I was kind of monitoring this injury more than I would have.
Yeah.
But Nacua ended up coming back and finishing the game, so he probably should finish out.
I think he will.
Or play week 14, but
yeah. No, I think he'll be back. I feel like whenever you have an injury like that, when you finish the game, I know sometimes ankle injuries are different because you'll come back in, then it'll swell up once the game's done, and it's hard to get back healthy again. But
yeah,
I think with the stuff he's dealing with, it's going to be probably more pain tolerance than it is swelling.
Yeah, I agree with that. One thing to say about Christian Watson was there was a report that came out saying, on a positive note, that the wideout did seem to be moving better on Monday during a brief sighting in the locker room. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play, because that injury looked bad, dude. I know. If I had to put money on it right now, I'd say Watson doesn't play, but at least he's trending in the right direction.
If you had put money on it, do you say he plays before the end of the regular season? Not our regular season, the NFL regular season.
Oh, yeah. I think he finishes out the season. I think he comes back by week 18.
You think that? Yeah. Okay. I could see that. So you'd put money that he plays?
Yeah, I would.
I think I would put money that he's done unless they make the playoffs. I think my bet, just because he's dealt with hamstring issues before, he's not. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like hamstrings. You look at Justin Jefferson. He's been out since week 5?
Yeah. He was out for, what is that, 9 weeks?
What is it? I can't do the math right now.
5 to 14. Yeah. That's crazy. J-Jeff is projected to come back this week, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he should be back.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think with an injury like that, we might not see him again the rest of the season.
Yeah, maybe not. That would really hurt the long necks because Christian Watson just started getting in a rhythm with Jordan Love.
I know. He could see a little bit of an uptick from Jonathan Mingo, who I think has been playing a little better of late.
Yeah, he was. He was playing decent. I think, I don't know if point totals he was doing anything crazy. I was watching that Carolina game because I was watching Chuba.
He put up 9.9.
8 points and 9.9.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
on 10 targets.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
He could be serviceable. So you could bring Justin Jefferson back and get Mingo.
The only tough thing about Jonathan Mingo is they play New Orleans and Atlanta to finish the fantasy season, which are 29th and 28th in easiest teams to play against. So difficult, very difficult teams to play against as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I would say about Mingo is he's been getting a lot more targets and playing better in the pretty much last 2 weeks. Other than that, he's kind of been hit or miss. But he gets a ton of targets and he has yet to find the end zone. So if you find the end zone in one of these games, he's putting up, 16 points now? 17 points maybe?
Yeah, for sure. And, I mean, he has a brilliant rookie quarterback throwing him the ball. Bryce Young.
Yeah. Shout out Bryce. For real. Now, last thing I want to say about the long necks before we move on to the next teams. Justin Herbert is currently in his starting lineup, and I know that he hasn't made adjustments yet because Justin Jefferson, Dalton Kincaid are still on his bench. Do you think it's time to put Brock Purdy in for Justin Herbert?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy needs to be in his lineup.
Yeah.
Herbert's been so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been super disappointing. He's been up and down this season. Like, he started out well, showed some glimpses during the season. Like when they played Detroit, he put up 37 points. Mm-hmm. When they played Chicago. So when they play bad teams, he puts up good point totals. When they play difficult teams, he puts up 14.8, 7.1, 16.38, 7.98. Like, he's had some really, really bad games this year against good teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it's time to switch it out. Brock Purdy just has... Obviously, he has more weapons, and he's more... I think he has a better floor.
Yeah. Okay, this is a complete side note. You know how everybody's kind of talking about Brock Purdy like he doesn't deserve MVP nods, he doesn't deserve any of this because of all of the yards after catch that he's been getting? Like, everybody's kind of saying that his stat line is because he just has weapons around him and that he's not that good of a quarterback. I was watching a clip from some ESPN talk show. I can't remember which one it was. But a guy was basically going off on everybody who had that take because he pulled up all the stats of the recent MVPs. And the only recent MVP that he has a higher percentage of yards after catch, like from his totals, is Lamar Jackson, who basically did it with his legs and just had that ridiculous year. But his yards after the catch account for 48 or 49% of all of his total yards. If you look at all the previous MVPs, Mahomes was at like 53 or 54%. And all these other guys who won the MVPs, they were all in the 50s. So he's like actually has less yards after catch than any of the other people that we call like the greatest quarterbacks in our league.
That's funny. That's super funny, actually.
I know. I love Purdy, dude. He's just constantly an underdog. I want to see him do well so bad.
Yeah, nobody ever seems to give him the credit that he deserves. Like,
no.
It's funny to look back at the previous 5 weeks that we've had Josh Dobbs in. Mm-hmm. After like 2 weeks of having, honestly, if you really break it down, not crazy games. In his first game, he had 3 turnovers or whatever in the first game. And then the second game, he played a little bit better, and everybody's like, Josh Dobbs is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Yeah, right? Brock Purdy is twice the quarterback that Josh Dobbs is.
Oh my gosh, yeah. He's so good.
Funny. People just don't give Mr. Irrelevant enough credit.
Not at all. So I'm rooting for him. I hope he does well. So long necks, put him in. MVP.
Long necks. Make the move, baby.
Come on.
All right. let's move on to our next matchup of the week. This is actually a fun one. We got the Texas Turf Hoppers against the Big Lake Lumberjacks. This one means a ton, specifically for the Lumberjacks, but it's actually big for the Turf Hoppers too. Yeah, because top 4, and then Lumberjacks are really fighting to stay in the top 8.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about this on the last episode with Andy. Big Lake Lumberjacks are a bit injured right now. They're a bit banged up.
They are. They had 3 of their starters go out last week, which was a bummer for them. But yeah, back to it being important for both. I mean, Turf Hoppers are currently in 4th. So they can't they're 2 games ahead of the Avalanche in 5th. But if they were to lose this one, they could easily get pulled out of that 4th spot in the final week of the year.
Yeah. Couple things to mention. Trey McBride is on a bye. He's been playing really well lately with Arizona.
Who's
and he has to replace Big Lake Lumberjacks. Okay. And they have to replace their tight end now with Okonkwo.
Which
they also have to bring in.
Okonkwo is a solid 4 points a game. He's kind of a guy this year who I don't think he won't get goosed. You know what I mean? He's going to get a couple of points for you, which is really all you can ask at your tight end spot.
The only goose that he had this year was in week 1.
Yeah.
2 targets. That was his lowest, tied for lowest targets of the year. So when he gets 2 targets, he gets about 2 points or less. If he can get more than that, preferably 4 to 5, maybe 4 to 6, he's probably getting you about 4 points. And then anything more than that, if he can find the end zone, he hasn't found the end zone yet. No. If he gets 6 targets, it seems like he gets about 7 points, 6.5.
Yeah, I mean that's he's fine. He's a decent replacement.
Yeah. The big ouches on this team though. Christian Kirk going out, Ramondre Stevenson, they're both already out for sure. That sucks.
Yeah, massive blow. I think just because of the injuries, I'm taking Turf Hoppers. They just have way too many guys who can go off. I mean, Dak's been a stud. Debo has been looking better and better he's looking like it's funny. Gosh, yeah. It's funny because the Turf Hoppers have Debo and Lumberjacks have Ayuk. And if they had played this matchup at the beginning of the year, we'd be like Lumberjacks have the advantage. Ayuk is just getting more targets. He's more important.
Right.
You look at the last few weeks, Debo's been just a big play machine.
I mean, they both are. They're both studs, but
I would rather have Debo now. If you could give me the option this week, I'd take Debo. And then Turf Hoppers have Kyron Williams, who has only been a stud when he's healthy. I mean, as long as he's healthy, he's been an absolute beast.
Scary thing about Kyron Williams going into week 15, which is when I play them. They play Washington. I could see him going off for 35.
He really could.
That would suck.
Yeah, that'd be a bummer.
I'm right there with you though. I think I'm going to take the Turf Hoppers as well. I think it's actually a pretty easy pick. I think the Lumberjacks are just too banged up. I don't even know if they hit the median this week. Jordan Love has been playing a lot better. He's been looking more and more consistent every week, but there's still always that dwindling chance that, he puts up 15 points, 16 points maybe if he has a bad week. But I think you could probably lean on the fact that he's probably going to get about 22 and his ceiling would be about 30.
Yep. No, I agree. Completely agree with that. Should we move on to the next matchup?
Yep, let's get into it. Our next matchup of the week is the Andover Avalanche versus the Pond Feet FC. Avalanche is projected 101.17, and Pond Feet is projected 88.77. Amari Cooper is questionable for the Pond Feet. He had concussion. He's in concussion protocol right now. Yeah, players typically miss a week or two after suffering concussions. Even though Chris Olave and Madison came back, they were able to avoid that. Most players have to take off a week if they go into concussion protocol, and so I think he's probably going to have to. Right, I think he's going to have to replace that with either Darnell Mooney or Robert Woods. He could probably switch some things up and put in. You know what he's probably going to do? He's probably going to replace it with Tyjae Spears.
No,
Tyjae Spears. Yeah.
I don't think so because
because Henry's playing, isn't he?
Henry's playing, so he's kind of useless. Honestly, his options are not that good. He'll have to probably put in Mooney.
Yeah. That's a bummer.
Yeah, so I just don't think he has a good enough squad this week. Nico Collins is going to see a massive boost with Tank Dell out, but they're playing the Jets. So I don't think this is the week that it helps him.
Nope.
And if he loses this week, it's just going to be, I think that pretty much wraps him up. He'll be done. That'll pretty much force him into the relegation league. I don't know if he could surpass the 2 teams in front of him if he takes a loss this week.
Yeah. I will say here's my ham sandwich hot take of the week.
Ooh.
I think Austin Eckler has a resurgence this week and plays well against Denver.
You do? Okay.
I do.
Okay, what's a good week? Over under 17 points.
I'm going to say over.
Okay, I'll take a ham sandwich on that. I'll take Eckler on the under 17.
Yeah, I think he goes for like 19 points.
All right.
Which would be crazy, but I think he finds the end zone this week against Denver. You know what? The issue, though, is the projections for Denver is saying that they're the worst defense in the league for running backs. Not the case anymore. They have made drastic changes since that Miami game where they left 70 points out there, and a majority of those were from the running backs. Mm-hmm. So I don't think Denver's as bad as the projection might show, but I think Austin Eckler has.
I don't think this week is automated like that, though. Each week they have people who personally stat out. So I think they would have taken that into account, that there's been a change in how Denver's played. It's only for future ones. So they'll let a computer do like the rest of season type of thing. But I'm pretty sure that they have, like ESPN, all the guys that you listen to on the ESPN podcast, the fantasy football podcast, those guys are the ones who set the projections each week that you see in your fantasy football app.
Yeah, but look at week 17. Denver is projected at the worst defense again. And last week, or 2 weeks ago, when I had Alexander Madison going up against Denver, they were also first. They were projected to be the worst defense in the league.
No. I agree with that. That's not their projection. That's where they currently stand. They have technically allowed the most points, but I'm saying his projection of 12.63.
Oh, yeah.
That's set by a real person. That's not. That's know true. That Denver's been better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. We'll see. I mean, he's had 3 really bad weeks back to back to back. 6 points, 6.9, 3.7, and it's not like he's not getting as many attempts. He's actually getting, 2 of those weeks he got a little bit less, but last week against New England, he had 14 attempts, put up 18 yards. 3 targets, 2 catches, 9 yards. That is such a bad week for Eckler.
Horrible.
I don't know.
Absolutely horrible.
I got a gut feeling that he has one more push left in him, and it's either going to be this week or next.
All right. I'm writing it down right now. Google Sheets we're trying to track these ham sandwich bets better. So
yeah,
Jack, you're taking the over. I'm taking the under at 17 points.
Aaron Jones may not play due to knee MCL. He's currently in the roster for the Andover Avalanche. If he doesn't play, Adam Thielen or George Pickens or Zay Flowers. Dude, Andover Avalanche has a lot of tools on their bench that they could... Yeah, they have a lot of depth. If they really need to replace Aaron Jones, it's not going to kill him. And I think Zach Moss is going to have a great game with Jonathan Taylor out. I think this is pretty obvious that Andover Avalanche wins this week.
Me too. Doesn't even like... You would have to give me pretty good odds to take Ponfeet this week. I don't think he has the guys who can do it. So...
No, I don't either. And I think Geno Smith has a bad game against San Francisco.
I was hoping you would pick either Ponfeet or Lumberjacks, because I think we're going to have the same exact picks this week.
I think so too. Yeah, especially because the next 2 matchups that we have are the Roided Robberies and the Barnacles, and then Unicorn Fart and the Bourbon Barrels. Those are those are guaranteed locks.
Well,
we should talk. Oh,
No, I was going to say it's going to come down to week 15 for us to make a decision to see what happens.
That's kind of fun, though.
It is.
That would be cool, actually, is if we can maintain that. Roided Robberies are projected the most points this week at 107.22. That's a huge projection.
That's a massive projection.
Yeah. quick recap on who they have. Patrick Mahomes, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Chris Olave, who's been playing really well, Mostert, Javonte Williams, TJ Hawkinson. TJ Hawkinson might be a little bit of a high projection, though. Like we talked about, Josh Dobbs not playing very well. He's at 10.5. He might go lower than that. But Garrett Wilson, Brian Robinson. That is a good-looking team.
You want to know what's crazy? I think it'll change. I don't know if he'll play Wilson. I think he's going to swap out Wilson for Ezekiel Elliott on his bench. It was 11.9. No, Wilson. Because Wilson's going to be the starter. Ezekiel Elliott's going to be the starter for the Patriots. Wow. So
for the
his
the
team got a lot better with Ramondre. Yeah.
Yeah. Holy cow. I didn't even realize that. That's wild. So, I bet you Garrett Wilson does come out. Ezekiel Elliott finds a spot in the lineup, and Roaded Robberies might have highest scoring week in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Depends on how Patty Mahomes does against Buffalo. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown chews up Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Olave's been playing well. Yeah, dude, he's got a tough team. And then Dorsey Barnacle's not a lot to talk about, but
who cares? Nobody cares about the tanking teams now. Mostert might take a little bit of hit the rest of the season for the Robberies with Achane back.
Is Achane back now for week 14?
Oh, he was back last week. He put up 2 touchdowns and like over 100 total yards.
Oh yeah, he was good to go. He didn't get hurt last week though, did he?
No.
Okay,
So basically what happened is Mostert had a majority of the carries in the first half, but then they started to blow. It was an absolute blowout. They were just dominating. And so they put Achane in for the second half, and he dominated as well. I think if he's healthy, I just don't see them doing anything less than a 50-50 split now moving forward.
Jeez. Yeah, that's wild. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he only had 11 attempts last week, but he did get 43 yards and a touchdown. So you're right. Mostert might take a little bit of a hit, and he might score like 10 points, but he's still such a stud. Like the only team in the NFL that I can say, well, no, 2 teams. I'd say Detroit and Miami are the 2 teams that you're like, both running backs could easily get a touchdown week to week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Honestly, it's probably going to hurt Tua more than it hurts anybody else.
Yep.
Unless they go get dump off passes, but the Dolphins can score 3 or 4 rushing touchdowns in a given week. Kind of limits what Tua can do.
That is so crazy. That is insane.
I know.
So I'm going Roaded Robberies. Obviously. I'm assuming you're doing the same, unless you're crazy in the head.
Yeah, Robberies.
Next projection or next matchup, we got Unicorn Fart at 99.56. They're playing a tanking team in Bourbon Barrels. Unicorn Fart. Bourbon Barrels do have Kenny Pickett right now, but we've already talked about that a little bit. Unicorn Fart starting Lamar Jackson this week. They don't have a choice. Their other quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, is out.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much for sure. He might even be out for the rest of the season. Fantasy season.
No, I don't think so.
You think he comes back week 15?
No, but he'll be in the Unicorn Fart's going to make the playoffs. So.
Oh, right. Oh, regular season for fantasy.
So he's got 4 weeks. I could see Trevor Lawrence coming back, but I don't think he plays him. I mean, unless Lamar gets hurt, that's probably the scariest thing for him. Is if Lamar gets hurt, he has nobody.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
Yeah,
big time. That would kick him out of the playoff run probably. If Lamar got hurt early in this game in week 14, and then he doesn't have anybody going into week 15, who does he even have? PJ Walker.
Yeah, no, he's
not starting.
He has nobody to replace him if Lawrence isn't back and there's an injury. But as long as he has somebody by the time playoffs start, he'll be fine. Because I think he's locked into the playoffs. I think he's clinched that.
Oh, is he? So then he'll be okay. 20-6.
Let me take a look at the standings quick. So he's at 20-6, and Andover Avalanche are at 16-10. Avalanche is in 5th. So as long as the Unicorn Fart gets one more win, they have it locked.
So they already have it locked because they're going to get a median win against Bourbon Barrels?
Or an automatic win, yeah. So they're locked. As long as he has a quarterback in the playoffs, that's all that matters. We're also completely speculating. This is only if Lamar gets hurt.
Yeah, right. And it hasn't happened yet. So
No.
yeah, I'm taking unicorn fart here. Devontae Adams probably has a good game against Minnesota because he's been finding it with Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, they've been
Tony
absolutely force feeding Adams.
Tony Pollard's been stepping it up a bit. Jerome Ford's been pretty consistent at about 10 points. Kyle Pitts is probably getting a little bit of an improvement. Not really, but the fact that they're not playing Jonnu Smith at all, with their new coaching coming in, they've pretty much already said that Jonnu Smith is pretty low on the totem pole, so Kyle Pitts has the opportunity to have a higher ceiling. Nothing's guaranteed, though, because Kyle Pitts is Kyle Pitts.
That's very true.
And then he's got A.J. Brown going and Gabe Davis, who could, they're playing Kansas City. When was the last time they played Kansas City? He put up 0. Nope, that's this week.
I was going to say, I don't think they've played Kansas City this year.
So when they've played bad teams, Gabe Davis has had better game. No, not even.
I think he's just a shot in the dark. He can blow up any given week.
Yeah, he really can. He can be anywhere from a goose egg to 25 points, which is just so crazy. But it's a nice weapon to have.
Yep, I think Connor just literally has to root for no injuries to finish out the season, because I'm looking at his bench. He has nobody at any position really to fill. Like, if he gets any sort of injury, he's a little bit more susceptible. If Chase goes down, Brown goes down, Adams, if any of those guys go down, it's definitely going to hurt him.
He's actually massively. Deepest at the tight end spot, and that's his worst position.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, he's got Tyler Conklin and Gerald Everett to replace Kyle Pitts if he goes down, but it's literally like a 1 point difference. And it's like around 5 to 6 points, so it doesn't really make that big of an impact, but he is hurting a little bit for depth.
I'm sure everybody is. His was just the first that I noticed.
Yeah, agreed. Guaranteed Unicorn Fart takes it. Now we're going to move into the Slumlord Cohen African Token, and this is the closest matchup we have of the week as of now.
It is. Okay, let's before we dive into it, who are you picking?
I'm taking Slumlord Co.
Ah, son of a gun. Okay, me too.
Well, just with how things have been playing out, I mean, the issues with African Token, I'll start there. Derek Carr is questionable right now. Concussion rib. He practiced in a limited capacity on Wednesday.
I don't think he plays.
I don't either. Does he have a backup quarterback?
Protocol? No.
Okay, then it's pretty much a guarantee. If he doesn't play a quarterback, as much as Tyreek Hill could do, I don't know if you're making up for two positions. You also have Tyler Boyd, who is, I think Jake Browning definitely showed some promise, like as a really solid quarterback. But issue you're running into is he seems to only focus on Jamar Chase.
Right. Yeah, he heavily targeted Chase. And with T. Higgins back, it absolutely kills Boyd. Even if T. Higgins didn't have a great game, it absolutely ends Boyd's ability to be anything valuable. I think. I mean, I'm sure he could have a random week, but whenever all three of them are together, he doesn't seem to do anything.
Yeah, the funny thing about Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins coming back, T. Higgins always gets the higher projections, but even last week, they had like the same amount of points. So I think both of those guys are in trouble for the rest of the season to have like a breakout game, unless they find the end zone, which Tyler Boyd has a lower probability of finding the end zone than T. Higgins, in my opinion. Yeah, so that really hurts Boyd. T. Higgins is still not the guy. Jamar Chase is Browning's favorite target, and I don't really see it going to anybody else. Even like a Drew Sample, who could have had a kind of an uptick with a young quarterback coming in. They seem to like their short passes, their slant routes, their tight end passes. Drew Sample only had like 2.9 points last week, so it seems like a Jamar Chase show for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Nope, I agree. I think, I completely agree. Jamar Chase is definitely the only one I would really be excited about starting in that wide receiver crew.
Yep. One thing about the African Token that I don't think is going to make a huge impact on this week, but it is going to probably make an impact for the rest of the season. Elijah Moore is the man in Cleveland right now.
Maybe.
Who else is taking Who else is taking passes?
I
Cooper
think
will be back for week 15, but
right.
go ahead,
but
sorry.
I was going to say,
off.
no, you're good. You're good. I think Elijah Moore is the man if Joe Flacco's the quarterback. I think if DTR is back and healthy, they'll play DTR, and I don't think he'll go for Elijah Moore. I think he'll probably, I don't know who he'll target, but I don't think Elijah Moore is necessarily the guy. I think he likes to take more shots.
Yeah, it's tough because when I was looking at Walker, PJ Walker, right? Is that his name?
Yeah.
PJ Walker on his said that he was behind in the depth chart to Joe Flacco. So just from the brief advice that I was reading on Yahoo, it seemed like they're probably sticking with Flacco right now. But if DTR comes back, you think that they'll start him?
Yeah.
Oh, you think Flacco's 2?
Flacco's 2. So they said that Flacco is the backup to DTR. So as long as DTR is healthy, he'll be the guy. Now, Flacco showed out last week, and maybe they just think like, yeah, we got a veteran guy here. I'd much rather ride him with a chance at the playoffs. I get it. I would. That's what I would do. But
that's what I would do in a heartbeat.
But I don't. From what they've said, I don't think they will. And so maybe Njoku is DTR's guy or something like that. But Elijah Moore has a connection with Flacco because of their time together in New York when they played for the Jets. Mm-hmm. Moore hasn't really had that connection with any other quarterback. It's really only been Flacco that he's had success with.
Yeah, not even Watson.
No, yeah. He was getting a lot of targets, but they didn't really matter for him. For some reason, the only guy who can seem to unlock his potential is Flacco.
Well, I can tell you why. Deshaun Watson's trash. So is Walker and DTR. All three of those guys are. I hate Deshaun Watson. Not personally. I don't really care about him personally. In fantasy football, I think he's so garbage. And it doesn't help that I joined fantasy football last year. So
that's such a hot take. Most people would say, you know what? He's serviceable in fantasy, but I hate him personally because of all the off the field. You're like, you know what? I don't judge. I actually kind of like him.
It just goes to show that I do not look at these guys as real people. Just kidding. I definitely do, but I just don't. It doesn't affect my life. Whatever he's doing outside of football, whether you agree with it or disagree with it morally, I don't really care. As long as you're putting up 30 points a week in fantasy, that's all I really care about.
Oh, clip it. Put it on TikTok. Cancel us now.
Do it. It's so funny. Dalton Schultz is projected to come back for the African token, which hurts me a little bit because I have Brevin Jordan on my bench and he had a good week, but Schultz was limited in practice Wednesday, so he'll probably play. I don't think it's going to matter. I think Slumlord is going to I think they're going to blow by their projection even. 85, 86?
Yeah.
That seems low.
They're projected under the median right now.
Yeah, it hurts him that Jonathan Taylor's not playing, but Brandon Cooks is a good replacement flex spot.
In Philadelphia, a team that's given up so many yards in the passing attack. Yeah. He's a great start this week.
Yeah, he is. CeeDee Lamb is currently projected 17 points this week.
That's nuts.
Yeah, we'll get to that when we talk about the sleepers, but I was just watching. I think it started out early in the week. It was like 14, and then it went up to like 15, and then I saw that my projection went up by 2 points, and I was like, oh, it must have, kind of dispersed throughout my players. Nope. CeeDee Lamb, 17 and a half or something like that. Oh my gosh. That's so exciting.
No, that scares me. Are you kidding me? Whenever they project a guy that high, I'm like, crap, that's pretty much what he's going to, like, that's the max. Like, where can I go from there?
Mm-hmm.
I guess you have been watching CD lately, and only place he goes from there is up.
Dude, yeah, we'll talk about that more in a sec, but I'm excited to talk about CeeDee Lamb today.
Let's jump into it now. We both picked Slumlord over Token. I think that's easy. So next one up for me is Sleepers versus Assassins.
Yep. Guaranteed win this week for the Sleepers. Not a guaranteed median win, but I am projected to beat it by about 9 points right now.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Higbee is still questionable. Oh, he missed practice on Wednesday. That just came out. His projection went down by 2 points.
You might want to look at trying to pick somebody up off of waivers.
Yeah,
I don't know who's out there. Have you already put in a bid on somebody?
No, there's not like really anybody who's promising. I'll read them off real quick. So I'm currently, if anybody's wondering, I'm currently looking for a tight end right now. Tight ends available right now. So you got Tommy Tremble, which I was actually thinking about. He is the tight end in Carolina, but he might not play due to a hip injury.
Okay.
And he's not consistent at all. Like he's worse than Okonkwo.
Yeah.
In Okonkwo, we talked about him. He's about a 4-point player, but Tremble is probably the best option out of all these guys. And then you got like Andrew Ogletree.
Harrison Bryant has put up a touchdown in the last 2 weeks. Now, 2 weeks ago, it was on 1 catch for 2 yards. But last week, he put up a touchdown, 5 catches, 49 yards.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an interesting pickup, but that's with Flacco.
Yes.
Flacco's not projected to play this week, right?
No, probably not. But yeah, you're probably right. That's probably more of a Flacco play.
In a weird way, I'm drawn to Drew Sample a little bit because when I was watching the Cincinnati games for T. Higgins, it felt like Drew Sample was like, I don't know why, but it felt like he was on the field or doing more than what his stats show. He only had 1 target, 1 catch for 11 yards in the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, he did have a touchdown, but this week he didn't, so that's a 6-point swing. He's projected 3 points this week. Man, there's just not a lot of options.
What about Daniel Bellinger? Bellinger has put up, so he had a bye last week. The week before that, 1 catch, 8 yards. That sucks. Then he had 3 catches for 38 yards, 2 for 34, 3 for 43.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tommy DeVito he looked better. He was putting up some stats. Yeah. Bellinger, who's your option right now besides Higbee?
Jonnu Smith or Brevin Jordan.
I might go Bellinger over those guys.
I think I would too. Do you think you... You know what's funny is if I pick up Bellinger, I have 2 Giants starting this week.
Oh, maybe not. Who's your other Giant?
Slayton.
Oh, that's riding pretty high on the Giants offense.
Yeah, and they play Green Bay.
I might go with it. I might not start them then. I might look to do the shotgun approach and just hope that you can get lucky in 2 different games.
Yeah, I think at this point, I don't think Bellinger has like that big of a projection over like a Jonnu Smith. Even though Jonnu Smith is just not him anymore, he can still get like 3 catches.
Yeah, he can. He definitely can.
He had 3 targets last week, 2 catches for 10 yards. Man, he just does not play a lot of snaps, though. Golly. I wish they wouldn't have changed up the coaching in Atlanta.
They didn't.
I thought they did.
It's the same coach.
Offensive coordinator?
Arthur Smith. I don't think they changed anything up in Atlanta. I don't know. Maybe they did, but I swear
they did. I thought
they changed the quarterback.
I thought the offensive coordinator. Oh yeah, the quarterback was big, but the offensive coordinator I thought was a previous like OC for the Tennessee Titans or something like that, and that's where Jonnu was. They were together, so he was working Jonnu more into the schemes. But I'm pretty sure you're right. I think bringing in Desmond Ridder has really hurt Jonnu.
Yeah. No,
I can't stand Desmond Ridder.
Jonnu was putting up points with Desmond Ridder? There was only 1 week. There was only 1 week that wasn't Heineke.
Yeah, and the week with Heineke, wasn't that against Minnesota?
Yeah. So
that's the week that he had a touchdown, 5 catches for 100 yards. But other than that, he's been.
What was he doing before? He was putting up decent stats for you before that.
Yeah, I guess like weeks 2 through 6, he put up 6.5, 6.5, 12.5, 7.5, 11.5.
Yeah.
Jonnu's probably the guy. It's just tough to put somebody in after they've literally dropped you a goose egg.
It is. That is pretty tough.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully Higbee plays. That's pretty much all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
But moving on to the other players, Jalen Hurts playing Dallas this week, projected at 25. CeeDee Lamb projected at 17. CeeDee Lamb last week had 17 targets.
That's insane. Absolutely not.
12 catches for 116 yards and a touchdown, along with 2 rushing attempts for 30 yards. They've been doing this like flex option or whatever you'd call, whatever is like a flea flinger. No, because then they throw it, right?
Flea flicker would be where
flea flicker.
They hand it off to the running back, pitch it back to the quarterback who throws it deep.
Oh, no. More of a flex option where they bring CeeDee Lamb in motion, and then he comes around, and instead of handing it off to the running back, they hand it off to CeeDee Lamb, and he goes on to the opposite side of the field.
Oh, that's just like oh my gosh. It sounds so dumb. I can't remember like an end around, like a end around to the wide receiver, I think is. Wow. People are going to be listening to this like, why do these guys have a podcast?
I think CeeDee Lamb finishes pretty well. Again, they're playing Philadelphia this week, the team that's led up the most points for wide receivers. Like we were talking about Brandon Cooks. I think Cooks has a good week. I think CeeDee Lamb has a good week. I think even Gallup has a good week. The only issue that you run into with CeeDee Lamb is when you're playing a team like this, he's probably not seeing 17 targets. He's probably seeing less than that because they're going to get dispersed throughout the other wide receivers.
How nervous are you about Stephon Diggs against Kansas City this week?
I don't know.
Projected at 14.9.
Yeah, that seems a bit high.
That
considering
does seem a bit high.
His last
3 games.
So week
2 of his last 3 games were bad. His last game was good.
Yeah, but that was with a touchdown.
Yep. But I mean, yeah, he's gonna get touchdowns in this offense though. He's one of the main go-tos for that.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I'm strangely confident with Stephon Diggs to finish out the season, but I could also see, totally falling apart, finishing out the season, averaging like 8 points a game, which would really suck. But
yeah, that would.
I don't know. I still got confidence in him. And then Madison against Las Vegas. He hasn't been anything special. If he can just give me like 10 points a week, 9 points, even 8 points, I'm happy.
I was going to say, if he can get you 10 points, you got to be thrilled.
Yeah.
He can barely break 6.
Yeah, true. The guy who I'm really excited about, and I think his projection is too low, is Chuba Hubbard.
You love Chuba Hubbard.
I do love Chuba Hubbard. He's projected at 7.5 right now. And the last 2 games, he's put up 17.7 and 22.40. It seems like that Panthers team, because Bryce Young is not crazy talented, Chuba Hubbard is their guy for touchdowns right now, and Miles Sanders is taking a back seat.
That was massive to see that he got 25 carries and Miles Sanders got basically nothing. He's definitely the guy, and he's been doing it against hard matchups. Tennessee is not an easy team to run on. Tampa's not an easy team to run on.
Tampa Bay.
Now he goes to New Orleans, another team that's not supposed to be easy to run on, and then finishes the season with Atlanta, who's the toughest team to run on. The nice thing about him is he has a good floor because he catches some passes for you. That's massive. Yeah, his floor is about, I would say right now it's about 7, which is a great projection then because he's projected at 7.5. So I think he could easily slip up into like 12, 13 points this week, maybe another 10, 12 points next week. I'm hoping that's enough to carry me through. Yeah, it could. I could see that with Chuba. I actually could see that. Me too. Question is, depending on how this week goes, I have a decision to make going into week 15 with no buys. Marquise Brown puts up a goose egg for me last week, but has projected more points than Chuba going into the last week of the season. Chuba is playing Atlanta, like we just said. No, you think you start Chuba over Marquise? Well, you're benching Darius Slayton, not Chuba. No. So if I go to week 15, my current lineup right now, and I've already said it, is Jalen Hurts, T. Higgins over Marquise, CeeDee Lamb, Alexander Madison, Chuba Hubbard, Tyler Higbee, Stephon Diggs, James Conner. No, dude, the guy you're benching is Madison then, not Chuba. Oh. You move James Conner into Madison and start Brown if you Marquise. Want. I mean, against San Francisco though, maybe not. Dude, I think watch to see what Madison does this week. If he San Francisco is the 9th easiest. Yeah, right. 9th easiest team to play against as a wide receiver. When they played earlier in the season, he had 7 catches for 96 yards. Yeah, maybe. Oh, okay. I guess it's going to be a tougher decision when we'll have to talk about it next week because I got to see how Madison plays this week. If he keeps getting the bulk of the carries, if Ty Chandler is doing nothing, I like your floor with Madison better.
Same.
So
also, Marquise Brown putting up that point total against San Francisco early in the season, that was with Josh Dobbs.
Yep.
I don't think Kyler Murray has really proven to be like, oh yeah, I love Hollywood Brown. He's my go-to guy.
Well, no, he has in the past. Didn't they go? They went to college together, I think.
Well, they're not getting along right now.
He was the one who basically recruited him to come over from the Ravens.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll talk about that more next week. But I think I have the guaranteed win, and I think I have a good shot at beating the median. But I'm not going to guarantee that because I don't even have a tight end right now.
Yeah, I don't know. You're borderline for me. I could see your team falling under it right now, looking at a few of the projections. So we'll get to that after, though. We got one more matchup before we jump into who we think is going to beat the median.
Yep. So number punchers, Corn Dog. Number punchers are currently projected at 90.82. Corn Dog is a tanking team, so we'll just focus on number punchers. They do have Brian Robinson, who's still in with a bye. Do they have a replacement at the running back? Yeah, they do. Gus Edwards.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be Gus Edwards.
Yeah. Does he have
Nate?
Nobody else on his team?
Not really.
He is so weak at running back. It's crazy.
Yeah, he is pretty weak. Other than Christian McCaffrey.
No, I mean, sorry.
And Brian.
I just mean depth.
You meant depth. Yeah. Kelsey projected at 13.5 is a little scary. Kelsey has not been the guy this year.
What's he been putting up? You know what? I haven't really been paying attention to him. He's still putting up like double digits
10.
Almost every single week. And then like randomly sprinkling in 16.4, 17.7, 16.9, 29.9. Dude he's still the guy. He is.
Yeah,
he's Mahomes' go-to target still.
Yeah, he is, for sure. Yeah, he's still good. But 13.5, I could easily see him going under that against Buffalo.
Maybe.
Buffalo's the 23rd easiest team to play against for a tight end.
Yeah, they're a difficult team typically, but this is Travis Kelce. This isn't just any other tight end. I don't think matchups matter for Kelce. I really don't.
No, not really.
So
he put up 8 against Denver. He also put up 16.5 against Denver, 17 against Denver. Yeah. I don't think it really matters that much, but they have had a pretty easy schedule against tight ends for the first 13 weeks of the season.
Maybe they've made it that way. You got to think that anybody who plays against Kansas City, they've had
it's giving up points.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter when you play Kelce. No, number punchers are stacked. They've pretty much locked in that number 1 pick. I mean, they will after this week as soon as they knock off. After they knock off Corn Dog, I'm pretty sure they've guaranteed a spot. So
yeah. This game really doesn't even have that much precedent. I think even if they lose to the median, it doesn't really affect their ranking, their record, their standings, nothing.
Not at all. I was looking around to see if they wanted to. I don't know if they could affect anything, but like if they wanted to try, because they play 2 tanking teams, so the only way they could affect anything is the median. And I was wondering if they see somebody who's like if they really would rather have Avalanche in instead of Turf Hoppers, and those 2 teams are both fighting like right around the median, and number punchers are just like, you know what? If I play this guy or if I don't play this guy, one of them makes the median, one of them doesn't. I wonder if they get to play God a little bit, kind of watch and be like, you know what? I would much rather have Avalanche in.
My guess is he's not going to risk it. He's just going to start his most optimal lineup, get to the playoffs, and try to win out.
I think you're right. I still think he should. I still think either this week or next week he should bench his guys and lose to the median just so that there isn't that overhanging never lost to the median thing going into the playoffs. I don't know. There's some sort of like fantasy karma that I feel like it'll hit you. If you feel like you have like almost a perfect season. You're perfect against the median. Round one of the playoffs. Sorry. First week you don't beat the median.
Maybe, but you can't. You just gotta keep pushing forward, I think.
I wouldn't. I'd bench him. I would.
Would you?
I really think I would.
That's wild.
Just there'd be too much
I haven't been looking
pressure
at my
on these
face this whole
fantasy
time.
guys.
Look how red I look right now.
It's ever since you said that about Deshaun. Deshaun got you flushed.
I know. I started blushing. Why do I look so red though?
I don't know. Oh yeah. Ooh.
Is it just the lighting?
A little more. It must be.
Whatever. Who cares? So now we're going to be talking about projected or teams who are going to. You wanna take over here? I kind of forgot where you're.
Yeah,
I'm flushed now. I lost. I lost my train of thought.
You're all flustered. You don't know what to say next.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we went through a very, very easy league pick'em, we're gonna wrap up the episode just by projecting out who we think is going to beat the median this week. So the current projections, the highest one is the Rawberries at 107.22. Avalanche are next, then Unicorn Fart, Turf Hoppers, Sleepers, Number Punchers, Pond Feet, and African Token rounds out the top 8. Slumlord, Longnecks, and Lumberjacks are all projected on the outside. Median is going to be massive this week because there are so many things hanging in the balance with clinching the number 4 spot in the playoffs, or even more importantly is the fight for 7 and 8. All of you guys fighting for 7 and 8 really need every single median. So who do you think is going to make the median, and who do you think is going to be left sitting on the outside this week?
Not to cut this segment short, but I really think the only thing that you have to change right now is Slumlord takes African Token spot. And I think that's maybe Longnecks squeeze in there over me if I fall apart this week.
If Number Punchers don't do that well, I mean, they're barely projected above the median.
Yeah.
Without Brian Robinson, they might drop under it. That could allow a few more in. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, the Rawberries would be a surprise if they dropped out. They're projected so many points, but they've done it before.
Above.
Yeah.
20
so many
points above, though. It happens, but it's rare.
Yeah.
I think Rawberries are a lock.
Yep.
Would you say Avalanche is a lock? Just for projections, like what you're projecting.
I would, yes. Yeah, I would. With Zach Moss. Now, if Aaron Jones doesn't play, he would have to swap him out with a 3-point difference there, projection.
Yeah, Zay Flowers or somebody.
Let's lock in Avalanche. Lock in Unicorn Fart. I'd say lock in Turf Hoppers. So
agreed.
So then at 5, 6, 7, and 8, I feel like I'm about to start a dance like a musical. 5, 6, 7, 8. Turf Hoppers. Jazz hands. I think Token fall out of the top 8. I think Pond Feet fall out of the top 8. And
Pond Feet are in the top. Oh yeah, I didn't even see that.
They're at 7. So I think
interesting.
Here's my final projections. Then I'll let you take yours. So Rawberries, Avalanche, Unicorn Fart, Turf Hoppers, Sleepers. Not in this order because actually I think Number Punchers beat the Sleepers.
Right.
I think Slumlord beat the Sleepers. I think you get 8th. I think you sweat it out. And then I think Pond Feet, African Token, and
swaps out for Slumlord and Longnecks.
And Lumberjacks stay out. Yeah.
So you take
on the outside. Let me state this in a simpler way. The teams that are still competing that won't beat the median will be Pond Feet, African Token, Lumberjacks.
Yep. Agreed. I'm right there with you. I think the only thing that I would differ with you is probably totally on a bias. I think sleepers could finish 7th or even 6th.
A little bit higher.
I do. I don't think we'll finish 8th, but that might just be me like, please don't finish 8th.
I am fully expecting to get like 17 texts, 2 calls. Like, dude, Chuba Hubbard sucks. Like, why? Or the coaching staff sucks. Chuba Hubbard should be in on every single play. I don't care if they're on the 2-yard line of the. He should be rushing every single play.
You're painting me as a maniac. I rarely get emotional about fantasy football.
Rarely. It's always massive swings, and it cracks me up. It's like that you'll send me 7 of those messages, then you'll end up getting a late touchdown, win by like 7 or 10 points, and just be like, dude, my team is so stacked.
Oh, I am the worst. I am literally the worst.
It cracks me up. It's so funny.
Yeah, that is funny.
No.
I think the pieces that I'm really hurting are T. Higgins at 10.5. That raises my projection too high. And if Higbee doesn't play, then I got to start. And Madison at 11.5. Yeah, I'm more of I would say I'm more of like an 88 projection than a 95.
Which is why I think you're straddling that median. I think you are right on.
But I also, yeah, I think Hubbard's projection's too low. I'm going to say I'm more of a 90. I'm not a 95. I'm a 90 because I think Hubbard gets 10 or 10.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Higgins gets like 6 or 7. And I think Madison gets like 8. So yeah, like 89. Scary. It's fun though.
It's so fun. I'm excited for next week. I think this week's matchups is kind of boring. We're kind of just watching the median. I'm excited
it's a median week.
I'm excited for next week when we get to see like everything falling into place. It's going to be so fun. I hope the group chat is just going off. I mean, I think I have nothing on the line anymore. I'm done. I might be able to just be a troll for all of next week. And it's going to be so fun.
Fun thing about week 15 is no more buys, right? Nobody's on bye week 15.
No,
is that right?
Nobody's on bye. No, this is the last week of buys is week 14.
So everybody's going into week 15 with their strongest lineups.
Mm-hmm.
Every trade that people made at the end of the season is either going to come to fruition or show that you made the wrong trades.
Mm-hmm.
And huge games for turf hoppers, sleepers, lumberjack, token. Like literally every single team has something on the line for week 15 besides the number punchers.
I know it's going to be super fun. And the nice thing is, let's see, going into the final schedule, I know at least 2 of the tanking teams play each other. So like, cause me and Andy play each other. So let's see, going into league week 15. Nope, they play. Okay. So we're the only 2 teams that do play each other. Everybody, the other 4 or 3 tanking teams play against actual teams, but one of them plays against number punchers. So that game doesn't matter. There's nothing on the line there. Right. The only other 2 that matter is the Raw Berries play Corn Dog. They're kind of on the outside looking in anyways. I don't know if they can make the top 4. And then the only other one is Lumberjacks play Barnacles. So that's the one that definitely helps him. Definitely helps Lumberjacks. I don't know. It's going to be fun. I think there's going to be a lot of ways we can troll, a lot of ways we can be like, oh, if you hadn't have made this trade, you'd make the playoffs. Just fun stuff to work people up.
I wish I could flip-flop spots with Lumberjacks for the finishing season. I wish I was playing Turf Hoppers this week, and I wish I was playing I wish I was playing Turf Hoppers this week, and I was playing Acorn Assassins next week.
It doesn't really matter, does it?
Well, yeah, but going into the last week, like if I lose to the Turf Hoppers, then I can go into week 15 with no stress. But as of right now, I know I'm going to be stressed out from here until next Monday, not next Monday.
That's such an Andy way of looking at it. You don't think about, I would rather play the Acorn Assassins this week, so I at least have hope going into the last week. You said I would rather play Turf Hoppers now so that I would have no stress.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know. Well, I would also rather play a Turf Hoppers that might have buys. Do they have any buys this week? Because the guy, Terry McLaurin, not really.
Nothing that really matters.
No, so it doesn't matter. This week I'm losing James Conner and Marquise Brown, so it actually probably hurt me more than it would help me.
Hey, next week you could be playing against, I mean, you at least being the injury guy, you get to hope maybe it's a Deebo Samuel-less Turf Hoppers. That could be good.
I'm going to go out tonight and get some of those plush dolls. Right into his knee.
You're taking him out at the knee? You could have at least been like, you could have been nice or something and just be like, oh, ouch, strained his bicep.
Ooh. Yeah, but he might play through that. Like shin splints. I'm giving him shin splints.
Bad
turf
tummy.
Toe.
Give him appendicitis. He'll be fine.
Yeah. He's got to get his appendix removed.
There we go.
Misses week 15. Oh man,
his tonsils. So awesome. His wisdom. He's scheduled to have his wisdom teeth out that Sunday.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Yeah, we'll see. It'll be a fun finish to the season, but that does wrap up our show. We are Relegation Fantasy Football on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at the Relegation League. We're also on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Relegation FFL. Fantasy League Home is linked in the show description. We're on Yahoo Sports. Come check us out. Send us your questions on Twitter and TikTok, and follow and subscribe for more content. We'll see you later, Relegators.
I like that one. That was a good one.
Did ya? Thank you.
Yeah.